Yet another Friday, and umbraCoffee today, and I'm joined by Andy Booth. Hello, Andy.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
Yeah, very well, thank you. It's weather's not the best today, but thankfully I'm inside.
Same here. The autumn arrived quickly. I must say, last week or 2 weeks ago, I was wearing t-shirts, and now it's a little bit more cold, a little bit more dark, but yeah, it's still a good time of the year, I would say. As we were talking before going live, I've realized that you are here with me and us, not us today because Callum is with the client for the whole day today, but with us on umbraCoffee for the first time officially. And officially you joined us on the UK Umbraco Together event last year. So maybe introduce yourself for an audience, because I felt like we were talking about your work a lot, but now we are having you here, so definitely.
Yeah, sure. I've only really started using Umbraco religiously for like the last 3 years, possibly, but I've had quite a wealth of experience in other CMSs, in particular Kentica, for nearly 10. So Umbraco, yes, it was sort of new to me, but I was able to quickly adapt based on other experiences I've had. But yeah, I've become very quickly acquainted to the Umbraco community during that time. Done my Umbraco training courses to become an Umbraco master now. I attended Code Cabin just over a month ago. So all good.
Yeah, you've been pretty active. That's what I can say. We've been talking about your work and your blogs and your summaries a lot recently. So that's definitely good to have you here. And yeah, I'm sure that coming to Umbraco world from other CMSs worlds is easier, but it's good to have you here, and definitely we can talk through all of the Umbraco news together and share your context, because I know you've been involved in some of the events recently too. But speaking about Umbraco HQ is having company day today. That's probably why there is a little bit more silence inside of the Umbraco sphere these days. And I saw a little blog, not a blog post, a little bit Instagram post from Emma today on Instagram with Elvis and a lot of great community members, HQ members behind the scenes. So I'm sure they are having a good time there in Odense. And yeah, I spoke with Lottie in the morning, and she also said that the HQers are pretty busy today. So I'm really looking forward to what there will be an output from the HQ company day, and I'm sure that there will be a lot of good discussions, a lot of good outcome of that. And looking good. Do you recognize any of this craziness from HQ?
Do I recognize anybody?
Yeah.
It's a bit small, my screen, but
large brace for
no.
A couple of good guys, familiar faces. But...
Oh yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Good, looking good. Let's see how it will go. But Umbraco shared one interesting update that I wanted to bring up today, and it's an Umbraco CI/CD flow. Something what has been discussed with Umbraco HQ for a long time. I do remember a time when Kak and someone from the HQ was traveling across the agencies, and they were discussing with some people about what cloud can have that will bring more people to use it. basically. And one of this was bring your own repository, bring your own flow to that. And this is the response to that. And Andy, have you used Umbraco Cloud for any of your projects?
Yeah, well, we inherited a Umbraco 9 website quite recently. And that's probably the only experience of Umbraco Cloud, minus the experience I've had with it with Umbraco training. We're currently undertaking a project to upgrade it from 9 through to 12 and then 13, obviously, when that's released. Wasn't the easiest of tasks to work with locally, but that was just mainly because of Umbraco deploy conflicts and whatever else. But looking forward to using it more though as time goes.
Yeah, it has its own kind of pains, and I do remember this schema conflicts as well when I was the last time working with it. But it seems to getting more and more easy to work with, because I do remember all of these hacky command lines tools that were bringing or creating your solution around the Umbraco project. And of course, since Umbraco 9 and the .NET Core part of Umbraco ecosystem, we can use it outside of the solutions, outside of this build path. And it seems to be right now also in the place where we can treat Umbraco Cloud as a kind of destination environment, destination repository, build a repository, and this flow will help us to do so. It's really well documented on this page on documentation. I will definitely link it also for the episode description. It's a set of information how to use it. How to also integrate with the existing repository, how to authenticate requests, and so on and so on. So a lot of knowledge to gain, but also a lot of possibilities open now for everyone who was using this as an argument to not use Umbraco Cloud. But yeah, it seems to be really, really cool. It has its own DevOps repository. A lot of cool, also interesting information for people who are looking on the infrastructures like this, because I do remember Morten sharing a lot of behind the scenes of Umbraco Cloud Platform back in the days, and it was very interesting to see what is hidden behind what we cannot see. And here you can see also more in-depth information on how it's orchestrated, how it works. Pretty cool and interesting thing. So please, people, if you're watching us, let us know if you used Umbraco Cloud recently, and if you are looking forward to integrating your flows into the new CI/CD flow. Might be something really cool to talk about in the future. So that was one of the biggest announcements this week. Of course, we are also in the middle of Hacktoberfest. And Andy, what are your plans to approach Hacktoberfest this year? How are you doing?
So I've not actually done any pull requests as of yet. But when I was at Code Cabin last month, I started fixing a little bug with the Umbraco installation process. But I only have the code for Umbraco 11. Because of the quirky internet connection, I wasn't able to get the full Umbraco 12 repository, so I wasn't able to fix it on there. But now I'm hoping to pick that back up and just migrate the fix to 12, and hopefully resolve a little bugbear I had with the installation steps.
Nice. Yeah, I brought here the list of labeled pull requests that were opened or closed, and you can see there's a 30 of them in total. 8 of them are closed already from the Hacktober contributions, and plenty of them opened even yesterday, 3 days ago. And some of the people completed the challenge already. And Eric Jan here, for example, has a Hacktoberfest challenge completed, and all PRs were Umbraco related. So congrats for all the people who already completed the challenge. And yes, we are in the middle of the month already. Plenty of time to still contribute, because time goes fast.
How is it middle of October already? I don't understand. Time flies.
I don't know, but I don't know what about you, but every Friday I'm surprised that it's Friday, right? So that's kind of like that, and there's 2 Fridays in the middle of the month. But yes,
I think it's,
speak about.
I think it's an age thing.
Yes, that's crazy. But speaking about the Hacktoberfest contributions and time, I think the Candid contributions team and Umbraco created a really nice space and time for everyone who wants to bundle the efforts, combine the forces, and contribute to Umbraco. And tomorrow there's an Umbraco virtual hackathon organized for everyone who wants to jump on the issues tracker, grab some bugs and fixes to fix, and then work on them in the group of people who are determined to not only complete the challenge but to make Umbraco better. And as I said, I spoke with Lottie, and Lottie mentioned that 37 attendees already signed up, so it's plenty of people who wants to do that, and it seems to be really a nice opportunity to attack some of these issues. And I'm sure that next Friday we'll talk about a lot of pull requests merged after that. So looking good. And yeah, Sven is watching from Umbraco HQ, so I'm sure that there will be more follow-ups on what is happening there too. I'm not joining, unfortunately. What about you, Andy? Are you planning to join?
I'm not. No, I mean, I've got plans, but otherwise I would. But no, looking forward to seeing what comes from it. I mean, yeah, based on the number of Hacktoberfest contributions that were in the issue tracker that you showed on the previous tab, we'll see how many get added to that by this time next Friday.
Yeah. Fingers crossed that there will be some issues left to fix, right? let's
high expectations that all issues are resolved.
No more issues, no more bugs in the software. We are destroyed and not needed anymore. But no, we'll see. We'll definitely follow up on this. And Andy, you've started an interesting survey, poll, or form today, and it got attention as well in the morning. What are you up to? What is the idea behind it, and how we can all help you?
Yeah, sure. I mean, so the idea essentially stemmed from when Paul Seal decided to retire the Umbraco community quiz. And one thing I remember about, even though I didn't really do it that often, one thing that stood out to me about that quiz was learning new things and that you wouldn't go out your way to learn for yourself. It was just there on the screen. You're like, oh, right, okay, so that's a nice piece of information I can take away. And it then got me thinking, what if there was some sort of tip of the day kind of website or a feed that could be created. So I thought this is a good time of year with Hacktoberfest being here and marrying nice little side projects to get going. So I've been behind the scenes and making that website, and I suddenly realised last night or the day before that it's only as good as the information it has. So I reached out to the Umbraco community this morning with this form, and rather than just being information that I've plucked out my head, other people can help contribute as well to populating it for days to come or weeks to come after it's live.
Nice. I'm definitely. I would be interested in the output of this service, and I need to connect you with Miguel Pinto, who reached out to me this week or last week because he found one of my talks from 2016 where I was sharing about the Umbraco myths and everything what we can bust around the Umbraco, why we need to fight these myths and gotchas and stuff like that. And if something like that exists for Umbraco 9 and beyond, right? Because of course a lot of that was related to the infrastructure, to the ways how we built solutions then. And I think that would be really interesting to combine it all. And then, as you've mentioned here, secrets, hacks, hints, and tips might help us all to generally build better solutions. And you've mentioned here probably that there will be a website, right, that will kind of display the entries, and it will be the one entry every 24 hours. That's the idea, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah. You go onto the website, and what are the forefront at the top will be the tip of the day, so to speak. Don't know if that's going to be what's going to be called in the end, but and then obviously if you've missed out on a previous day, then no worries. You'll have like a historic list of previous days. I'm trying to make it look quite nice, but ultimately it will be a open source website where people can pull down the website and spin up a version of the site locally and contribute to it to its development going forward. So for Hacktoberfest 2024, there might be some opportunities there, hopefully.
Yeah, I think it's of course also Matt Braithwaite was looking for an idea of gathering the interesting information for the UMB FYI newsletter, and there's no centralized interface on how we can submit this kind of stuff somewhere. Right? Of course, there's a lot of local tools that can scan through the hashtags on social media. There are some ways of listening to the activities, but there's no one way through them all, unfortunately, right?
Yeah, well, this website isn't aimed to step on the on Matt's or on FY's feet at any point. Obviously, that newsletter is designed to give you information about the current events that are taking place, including like events. Whereas this is just more sort of to prevent golden pieces of information not be lost in the past, from whether it be on Twitter or Mastodon feeds or blog posts, and ultimately these tips on this website will hopefully be recycled and redisplayed weeks, months down the line, hopefully, so they can be constantly republished and shown to people who might not have seen it before.
Yeah, I think the nice idea would be to also have this website as a browser extension where you open new tab and you have an Umbraco tip of the random tip displayed. I've used some of these extensions in the past. The ideas will flow, but of course the database of hacks, hints, and tips is essential here. So please, people who are watching us, if you would have any idea, and the more the merrier, I believe, right? So there will be a need to be a process of curation of these tips, that's removing duplicates and stuff like that. So that should be pretty fun. And of course, everyone can submit the ideas, right? The format is that each done with the links, right?
Yeah, basically just a small little caption of a did you know, and then any relevant links that are related to it, just to if a person's interested, they can go away and read more about it. So one good example, which Soren has submitted this morning, thank you very much, Soren, was something that Callum did at Code Garden 2022 last year, about 10 things you didn't know about Umbraco. So Soren's shared with me one of those tips of adding Markdown to property descriptions. Now these are little things that you wouldn't really go out your way to find, and to the unknowing, that might be something useful that they can use on projects if they have that piece of information to hand.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of information that is just lost somewhere, right? Someone mentioned it somewhere, and then someone used it, someone forgot. It's the same as with the magic properties that were always looked at somewhere in the documentation, and we knew that they exist, but where they are, who they are, it's hard to find out. But I'm really keeping fingers crossed for this kind of centralized, maybe it's hard to say centralized, but the really nice repository of hints and hacks, because that might be really cool to use. Same, I think it's also good to relate it with Lee Scalaher. It was amazing Umbraco, right? collection of things. So what you can do with Umbraco, same with other people who are investigating the same topic at the same time. As I said, Miguel, for example, who reached out to me. I think it will be really, really nice to get you all aligned, and maybe we'll then catch up again, and you can share us more, or it will be, of course, open source, so we can all browse it and see how what are the secrets and hacks to use.
Absolutely, yeah. Watch this space. There'll be some more updates in the week or two to come, hopefully. But I've registered the domain, so that's the important thing.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest steps. So yeah, definitely we'll keep an eye, and people, please help Andy collect the great secrets, hacks, and hints and tips, and we'll definitely follow up on that one. Cool. Some releases now to mention, starting from the Fine team, who released the access code package for Umbraco. It looks really interesting. It reminded me the era of SiteLock package that Anthony Deng worked on, and it was used by many solutions that I worked with, at least. And it's here we have a middleware implementation that checks for the password when we open the website, so kind of protection ahead of the website for client preview, testing, and stuff like that. Pretty cool idea, still kind of relevant and needed, I would say. And it seems like the Fine team approached it with some kind of whitelisting of IP addresses as well, some configuration options for ignored path. Looking really good. I'm really curious about this package, and I will definitely check it out to see if it's needed, maybe for some website protection. Other than that, Contentment update from Lee with a new data picker editor, which is the biggest change of this release. So yeah, and couple of the Hacktoberfest contributions from various community members. And Andy, you raised also one of the issues here.
Yeah, I'm listed as a contributor, but I didn't contribute at all, apart from just raising an issue with some CSS and the tags property editor.
That's also a contribution that counts. That's finding things like that might be really interesting and hard to find if you are working on something else, right? So that's much appreciated. And are you using Contentment heavily in your projects?
Yeah. It's Contentment is one of the day one packages that get installed. Yeah, I use it mainly for the data lists. Editor. Yeah, it's really powerful how you can just extend it and add your own data sources into it and just do things that normal Umbraco out of the box property editors just cannot do, and just adds an extra level. I find Lee's done a really great job bundling it all together.
I have one more link from Lee, and I think it's worth to mention right now, because there might be someone who could help Lee with another issue with Contentment, because I know that he was raising it on Mastodon recently. There was a issue report from some problem around the SQL data source and that cannot be used on members, and Lee has some ideas of reproducing the issue, but he cannot fully reproduce it from what I understood here. So might be a huge opportunity for someone else to be listed as a contributor and help for Lee and for the package that is such popular and used by many, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I've not used that particular SQL data source personally. I can see a use case for why you would use it. Maybe potentially if you've got a secondary database to your website, you can query and bring through information from there. So
fingers crossed that Lee will find it out, and there must be people who are using it with the SQL source and can help. And it's a power of community. And as Lee mentioned, even here, the raising bugs count. And I think I do remember in the past that I was skeptical and I was afraid to raise the bugs because I didn't want to, question someone's skill sets and stuff. But yeah, as Lee mentioned, how we would ever know about some of the issues if we are not 100% coverage with tests and stuff like that. So Yeah, let's find out. And I'm really looking forward to more stories like that of people who are contributing that way.
Cool.
Other releases, Patrick released 2 versions of his SEO toolkit with some new cool extensions as well. Twitter card types fields and meta fields for this particular sharing opportunity. Some new fallbacks and contribution from Robert as well. There are plenty of good extensions, and a lot of the people also contributed here with a lot of cool functionalities. So that seems to be evolving pretty well. Have you used the SEO toolkit from Patrick, or have you seen this?
I have on a couple of projects, but because of the nature of the clients that we had, they wanted very niche pieces of output for what it didn't do. So so kind of had to go back to a classic route of implementing in our own solution for the time being. No, looking forward to see how it evolves, because I would definitely return back to using it as a day one package, because at least then a lot of the hard work has been done for us.
Yeah, I still kind of look at a lot of WordPress packages that are there for the SEO management, some great ones, some big ones, and how they all maybe not compete to each other, but how they all kind of help people really to achieve their SEO goals, tracking activities, and some really crazy stuff that is right now done in the digital performance, digital marketing areas. And we are still far away from having a standard implementation, but this is one step towards really having something that will help us to start somewhere, and then maybe extend it with custom tools, custom actions and stuff. So yeah, I'm keeping fingers crossed for Patrick and this package, because it looks great, it works great, and it has a huge potential, of course, also to compete with other well-established packages in our Umbraco ecosystem.
Yeah, and the worst thing about SEO is it's always evolving. So a package like this, all it takes is obviously the package to be updated, and we obviously roll that out to your websites, and all your websites can almost automatically receive all the latest and greatest from the SEO world. And contributions like this obviously help towards keeping it a living and breathing product.
That's true, and that's why we will have things to discuss still on umbraCoffee. But two more updates this week, also from Anders. The Skybrat redirects and Skybrat Umbraco redirects package has some new versions with some small extensions and new functionalities as well. So that's a patch release with some small updates here, and it's not listed here, but following Umbraco redirects package, there's also Skybrat redirects base package that got updated to 4.0.17, if I remember correctly from my notes. So yeah, all the people who has this installed as a must-have as well will definitely benefit from this update from Anders and the team. And that's about releases, and now about events. We both talked before we went live about the UK festival last year, and of course this year it's approaching. It's approaching fast, and it's like 1, 2, 3 weeks from now. We'll be in London, enjoying the community activities days. 2 days, 1 day of hackathon. 20 plus sessions and 300 plus attendees. I think we can still help Callum and the team behind the festival to sleep better by buying the tickets and securing the spots. And I saw that Corny, for example, decided to also go from Netherlands. So there's plenty of good opportunities and flights and connections, and it's not that far from the world outside of the London to attend. You are traveling, right, as well? I'm
coming down with my boss Martin from from where I work at Pixel. So it'll be my second time attending an event in London, because last year I attended Umbraco together. So yeah, looking forward to this year's. A bit of a change compared to last year. We've got 2 stages now. So
yes. I wanted to mention that the schedule is now released as well, and as we've been discussing, there are some really tough choices to where to go, which talk to see. But it's plenty of good talks, and now we can also see what are the topics that are going to be presented by the speakers and the people who will be performing, and it's looking really good. Do you have your own preferences already? Is there anything specific, Andy, what you want to see?
I haven't actually gone through it all yet. To be fair, I've had a glance over it, but I haven't yet pinpointed which ones to do. The only one I do know I'm doing is not Matt Brailford's one regarding headless commerce, because I saw that last week at Umbraco Manchester meetup. So there's no point.
So then you will be able to see Rachel.
I'll go see Rachel.
That's really good. And yeah, I saw that Rachel was also doing this talk somewhere on some of the events recently, and it got a really positive feedback too.
I've seen. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And yeah, as I said, the agenda is really nicely packed, and some choices needs to be made. We with umbraCoffee were compared with the unlocking the potential of AI. So that's maybe we should use AI to replace us on the stage there, and then hear the Hank's talk in April's. We'll see how it will go, but yeah, its agenda is live now, and everyone can choose. And for all the people who still didn't make the decision to go, right now I think it's more arguments towards the deciding on if we should do and go and visit and maybe learn something new. I'm pretty interested about the Astro. And the ability of using it with the new content delivery APIs, because I heard a lot of positive about Astro. But at the same time, accessibility and Mike Macy, that will be a day of hard choices to be made.
There's always a hard solution with these things, isn't there? Because there's so many great topics, and which one do you choose? And if you do one, you're just going to miss out on the other. And I suppose that's just the nature of the beast, isn't it? I suppose.
Magical surprise. That's
interesting. It's only 15 minutes. What can a magical surprise entail for 15 minutes? Cake?
No one knows, but Callum is not here to demystify it as well today, but we'll definitely find out. Or maybe we'll just find out there in a couple of weeks. But yeah, definitely check it out. But until then, still there is plenty of opportunities to learn and exchange the knowledge. And you've mentioned before we went live that you attended the Manchester's meetup recently with Matt talking about the commerce tools. Was there any other talk there? Can you remind?
I had Oliver Picton there, obviously demoing some other use cases for commerce and headless commerce, which I found really interesting. What should I say? I drove away from Manchester, and it suddenly dawned on me that the web development world isn't just confined to just Razor web pages anymore. You know, there's so much more out there and so much more to learn. So it's certainly something on my radar to investigate and hopefully build on, because commerce seems to be one of the latest and greatest buzzwords, but I think it has merit, which I'm definitely interested in pursuing.
I think I mentioned it probably in the past that I was fortunately avoiding e-commerce for many years in my life on purpose, but now I cannot avoid it anymore because it became a kind of natural part of the web ecosystem. We're all selling something, and I've been playing around recently with Sanity CMS and Shopify headless commerce combined with the CMSs. So it's a lot of this kind of puzzle points that can be connected right now, and definitely exploring it. It's an interesting exercise. But you've mentioned Razor, and I also started one of the native Razor Pages applications recently. That was fun. that was fun for someone who started. I started my development journey with web forms, and it hasn't changed that much. To be fair, there's still code behind the page, and there's a get method for the page. It was fun. It was fun to explore that, and it works, and it works fast. So that's really really cool. But yeah, meetups. Of course, we've mentioned the Candid Contributions Hacktoberfest Hackathon tomorrow, online event. There's also online event for the Turkish Umbraco user group next week, and there's also a headless series in Kerala Umbraco user group, where they will be unlocking the future of Umbraco 12's headless possibilities. Sounds really really cool. And yeah, then that's up. That's for the next week and the week after. Some Hacktoberfest special in Edinburgh, Umbraco Group, and the Melbourne Umbraco Group has a hybrid event with the Cloud CI/CD discussions and Umbraco Bellissima. So pretty hot topics to discuss. And also the same day, Umbraco London Group will be doing the Hacktoberfest in the virtual ecosystem, same as Umbraco HQ in the Charlotte with the October meetup. So plenty of opportunities by the end of the month, and also Umbraco Cymru meetup group the same week. So it's 3 weeks to the end of the month, and 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 meetups to potentially attend, both virtually and physically. So that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Terence Burridge, because he seems to be very much on tour with these meetups. I don't know, obviously, if he's going to go beyond the UK, but he seems to pop up on a lot of meetups.
Yeah. That's true, and also the conferences. He seems to really crash on it and visit the same venues multiple times as well for a different conference. That's a lot of activities, but I'm sure that it will be a lot of knowledge to be also shared amongst them with the people who are attending next to him. So that's a big shout out, and good to mention that. But to add to that, there's also one more meetup. Of course, I didn't scan through all of them because we'll be reminding about them every week. But Oslo Umbraco meetup group also decided to get back on track. And Lars Erik, together with Kenneth, decided to host another meetup in November. I'm banded with Norway and Oslo recently a little bit more, but I won't be able to attend this one, unfortunately. But we'll definitely remind everyone to visit and to follow all the Umbraco meetups, basically, and we'll bring them up on every week, just to also not forget about them. And for all of those who want to not to only go to the meetups but also chill out, there was an opportunity for that during this week. I don't know, Andy, if you celebrated anyhow, but there was a World Mental Health Day in the middle of this week on 10th of October, and it's interesting topic, I would say, because we are all bombarded by the amount of knowledge, FOMO, stress. Programmers' life is not the easiest way, not the easiest life when it comes to challenges and the responsibilities sometimes that we have. And the mental health was brought a lot, and I know that some of the companies celebrated that more, some of them less. But generally, there's a lot of discussions also in Umbraco community, and I saw it mainly on Mastodon this week, that people celebrated, shared that there's a need for a kind of approaching mental health more these days. Did you have any activities? Did you decide to do something for yourself during this?
No, nothing personally. But obviously, it's certainly something at top of my mind. You know, that it's a very important topic, and I know quite a few people who have had their mental health struggles. And yeah, I mean, my personal stance is, why celebrate it on one day when you've got the rest of the year to also do it. So anytime you've got somebody, you know, who suffers from mental health troubles, then just be there to help where possible. talk to me.
That's a very good message, because by celebration we often also rely back to Valentine's Days and stuff like that, right? It's not one day per year, right? And of course this mental health issues are building through the days, months, years, and it's not easy to often relate back. But there was a really nice commercial. I don't know if you've seen this. I can't remember who was behind this commercial, but it was two men at the stadium cheering the team, and it turned out that not the typical suspect was the one who was facing the mental health issues, but the other one who unfortunately decided to take his life. But that's a crazy topic. One issue that I'm facing a lot with, not only myself but a lot of people around me, it's a burnout, of course, and that's something what heavily relates to our profession. And I admitted it multiple times that I'm having burnouts every 6 months, and I just welcome them with an open hands right now, and just hit me up, take me, let me do something with it. But I found during this year an interesting link that I wanted to share with all of you guys here. It's something that calculates the burnout risk, and it was shared during this mental health day. And it's a set of 13 questions that you can answer, and then it shows you the danger of the burnout that you're approaching at the moment. So I will share it, and I'm heavily encouraging people to take this quiz and questions and just check out if we are in the danger of fighting with ourselves when it comes to maybe not the mental health in general, but something what is called burnout, and which is diagnosed and officially released as a disease. So yeah, I will share it, and I won't be sharing my score, but but definitely we can talk about it if there will be some kind of good results there.
That's good.
Yeah, a couple of the quick shots at the end of the episode. UMB FYI, Matt decided to also release a web version of his newsletter, because I don't remember, but probably Warren asked about the possibility to list it as a web version of the email, and it turns out that the MailerLite has this functionality. So now we can also share the links from UMB FYI over the web, and of course Matt did a great job again combining everything that has happened in the previous week. Majority of these topics was mentioned by us on some of the umbraCoffee's episodes. Some of them are new, and some of them were discussed also over this episode. So yeah, definitely check it out, and sign up for the newsletter to receive it on the email if you prefer the email contacts. And one of the things that slipped through my notes and observations was this community store, community swag shop that Owen released with some cool community-related clothes so far, like this hoodie and some of the T-shirts with the graphics that was made by the community for the community. So that's one of the really interesting ways, and I'm sure that Owen will tell us more about it soon. And for everyone who would love to get some swag like this, that's another opportunity, and the commerce platform, just to not talk about commerce, right? Another commerce platform that does the job. So yeah, that's something what I wanted to mention. And one other interesting thing that flew through the Mastodon was this issue with the HTTP2 and vulnerability that was allowing for DDoS attacks with hundreds of millions requests possible to be received, and all the infrastructure people probably were already in the knowledge of this issue, but for those who were not, there is a really nice Cloudflare blog about this, and I'm sure that everyone took the actions to mitigate that and to resolve the issue behind the scenes. Two more. Andy, one question to you. How many updates you've done this year from Umbraco 7 or 8 to beyond?
0 Umbraco 7. To be fair, it's been more 10 to 12. We've not really done any Umbraco 8 websites as of yet, but some are on the pipeline, obviously, with Umbraco 8's end of life approaching next year, is it?
Yes. Yes.
So obviously we've got some clients who obviously will want to remain on a supported version of Umbraco. So so probably not so much in terms of upgrades this year, but certainly beginning of next year we'll be doing some upgrades in anger, so to speak.
I was saying that, I would love to name this year the upgrade year, but as you mentioned, the next year will be also the upgrade year because the version 8 will be ending its life. And I think that it all resulted in Soteri's writing this article because he was also approaching a lot of Umbraco updates. And he released a blog post called the Umbraco Upgrade Dilemma on how we can approach that path because if we should upgrade as is or we should rebuild. And I must say that most of the projects I was involved in decided to rebuild the solution because there were so many ideas of how we can change things over at the time that rebuilding it or upgrading it would be a time wasted when we can probably invest this time into building something from maybe not from scratch but reusing some of the components. And Soterius did a really nice summary of that here. And I think this is needed also for a lot of the customers, project teams and stuff, because everyone was discussing this and everyone was trying to find the best way. And unfortunately for us all, there's no one way to rule them all. There's no one tool that allows us to just click and update and have a...
I mean, we had an Umbraco 7 site that we upgraded to 8, I think it was a year or two ago. And that website was just full of archetype property editors that obviously existed prior to nested content. So trying to migrate that data across to something that was more native to Umbraco 8 was one of the biggest challenges. And obviously that's just one website. There's all sorts of websites out there that do things differently. And as you say, there's no one-click solution to do that. It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but of course there are some approaches to that. Using migrations is one of these, for example, helping to migrate, map out. But also this week there was a blog post with using and XSLT for the rescue. So there was one update from 7 to beyond approached. And the solution was to do some using migrations and using lift apps and also small SQL scripts that will that fetched all the members directly from the database. That gave a large XML document with the member data. Sounds scary already, but then what is the best to parse the XML documents? Of course, XSLT. And it turned out that with the knowledge of XSLT and the example that was even linked here somewhere, it turned out to not be that scary anymore. And the mapping and the processing happened pretty well. And it was a successful project at the end of the day. So pretty cool idea. And probably some old fans of XSLT will be happy that XSLT is not dead. It's still kind of being used, and there are some pretty fancy blenders created that helps to work it out. But it was really interesting to read through this story, and for all of those who might relate, I will share the link in the video description.
Sometimes it's good to not forget your roots, isn't it?
Indeed. And last but not least, for all those who want to learn from the lessons, Dave shared this blog post before the last weekend, how he approached the issue with debugging some of the specific Umbraco versions. And in this blog post, he highlighted how important and how helpful was the Git versioning for him, because he was able to switch to the specific Umbraco version, then restore quickly this version and run it to debug the specific Umbraco version problem next to the code that he was debugging. And then it's a short description of the solution for the problem that was causing him an interesting error. That was the get Umbraco build version was not given. I haven't seen that, but seems like might be it was related with the Git version. But thanks to the Git tags, he was able to switch quickly. And fun fact was that the Git repository was needed to make it working. So he just created initial commit on the initialized Git repo, and it all worked like a charm. Small things, big results. And that's all for this week. As I mentioned, plenty of things happen. Plenty of probably discussions and takeaways from both Company Day and Umbraco HQ, upcoming meetups, approaching festivals, a lot of the things going on. Andy, what is your plan for the rest of the month? How you want to spend the end of the Hacktoberfest?
Yeah, so obviously I'll be finishing the tips and hints website, getting that to a live and ready state. Be doing a couple more pull requests and Umbraco and potentially Paul's package script writer. So looking. Whenever I've used that, there's always been something I've needed to do additional to the script. So it'd be nice to just have that as an option when I need to use it. But yeah, other than that, it's just continue on with the day-to-day.
Maybe finding more bugs in some of the cool Umbraco packages and solutions, right?
Yeah.
Sounds like a good plan.
Taking credit.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Andy, for joining me today. Let's see each other soon on the UK festival in real life as well. But for all of those who will join us next week, see you all there. And make sure to follow, subscribe, like, share, and do everything what is needed to get your work highlighted in umbraCoffee. And yeah, we'll see each other next week as usual. So thank you, everyone, and have a lovely rest of the day.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.